Welcome to Vibrant Living Conversations. I'm your host, Gemma Putty. As a life coach to midlife mamas and women, I'm excited to bring these conversations from North Idaho and across this region to support you on your journey to vibrant living, glowing from the inside out, fully living in your own true to you power. For this interview, I am talking with Jay, essential oil expert. I've interviewed so many practitioners who use and love essential oils. So today I'm excited to get to talk to Jay just about the specifics of essential oils and their healing powers. So welcome, Jay. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a topic I love.
Me too. I have some of my doTERRA oils around me right now, and I'm like, oh, yay, I get to talk about them. So first of all, when you're talking to people about essential oils, what is just your high level pitch of oils and why they're great?
So I'll be talking specifically, obviously, about doTERRA oils because I've been using them for over 8.5 years, and they're the ones I feel comfortable with. So I kind of put that out there as a little caveat because not all oils are created equal. So when I'm talking to people, I want to make sure that we're talking about doTERRA oils because of their purity. Okay. So when we do a lot of expos, we do a lot of events. We have an organization that has over 2,000 people in it. And so it means we've touched a lot of souls.
Yeah.
And so my first question to people is just always, what's going on with you? What health issues are you going through or that you would like some help with? I believe in the oils so much because of their purity and because of their natural ability to help us instead of over-the-counter or pharmaceuticals. Now, there's a place for everything, but it's wonderful to be able to just walk over to my oils if I have an upset stomach or whatever's going on, and to just be able to get something that I know is pure and natural instead of, I wonder what side effect this is going to have. I wonder what this is going to do to me, right? The only side effects of doTERRA essential oils are that they make you feel better. So that's the kind of side effect that I want to work with. So that's kind of how we just very simply just talk to people and find out what's going on with them, how we can.
Yeah, and as an alternative to over-the-counter or prescription, other things that we will stay on a positive note.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know you have a pretty amazing story about how you got into oils and doing what you're doing. Would you mind sharing it with us?
Sure. So I had been in a pretty significant car accident 100 years ago. It was probably 35 years ago. And like so many things, it's bad when it happens, but it just can get progressively worse depending on what your lifestyle is. And I had been hunched over a computer all day. And so the car that I was in flipped. And so I had a lot of compromised issues, shall we say, with my neck and head. And I had tried pretty much everything under the sun. The first bad experience that kind of led me to where I wanted to go more natural was after the car accident. And I tried to go to physical therapy, and they told me that I was in too much pain to help.
Wow.
Their answer was that I needed to go and get on some very heavy pain medication so that they could work with me. And I said, no, thanks.
Right.
So over the years, that injury did atrophy. It did get worse. And there was a period of about 8 years where I would wake up in the morning with a terrible headache. And within an hour of being at work and being hunched over a computer, within an hour, I had a migraine. And so every day for 8 years, I had a splitting migraine that nothing could touch. And I tried every modality under the sun. I even traveled to Canada and had needles this long pushed into my back, into the nerve to try to block the meridians and to open up the meridians, block and open. Right. And I would get maybe a month's relief, if even that, but it was barely. And then the pain would start up again. Well, that didn't work. So I kept being rushed to emergency, and they would say, thinking it was a migraine and only a migraine. And we turned out to find that it was occipital neuritis. So there was pain from my shoulder blade up through the back of my head and behind my eye, like an ice pick all day long. So when you're trying to treat it as a migraine, but it's really occipital neuritis, and you're having people doing, I had Botox, I had trigger point injections, those long needles,
Right.
biofeedback, everything, and nothing was addressing the problem. Well, I was in bed one night with a splitting migraine, and my husband had been working with, believe it or not, a former FBI chief who had left the practice to open up his own, or left the business to open up his own security practice. And he had been asked to vet doTERRA.
Okay.
And he was so taken by the company and so impressed by them. And he was familiar with essential oils. So he called my husband and said, you got to come get this stuff for your wife. It's going to stop her headaches. So we thought, well, okay,
Yeah.
let's be polite. So my husband went over and got this tiny little packet of deep blue rub, brought it home to me. I smeared it all over my back and neck. And within about 10 minutes, I noticed my headache was going away. I thought it was just all the aspirin I had taken, and I never believed it could be that little packet of cream. But I woke up the next morning for the first time without a headache.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, there's something to this. I will happily try it again. And that was 8.5 years ago.
Wow.
And I haven't had a migraine in 8.5 years.
Wow.
Now I've had headaches still. I still have a neck injury, but I now have something natural to reach for that can ease that pain. I grab my peppermint, I grab my frankincense, and I know what to do. I take my supplements, and I can that way alleviate a lot of the spasms and pain that I was going through in those muscles. And everything that I was taking pharmaceutically or over the counter had so many side effects that I would have a new problem from that. And that's not the case with oils. So as soon as that happened, I told my husband, and we were both working as very high-level realtors, and I said, I don't care what we're doing, we're going to start sharing these so that nobody else has to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
And that's
8.5 years. Oh my gosh. And you hear of people all the time with migraines. And I mean, honestly, I know when I have a migraine, I am not functioning. So if you are living with that and day in, day out for 8 years, and I know people have all kinds of different pain, and to find an essential oil or essential oils that could bring you relief. So knowing what you know about essential oils, how is that working in your body that is bringing you the relief that nothing else was able to do for you?
So because doTERRA is so pure, and we kind of have to touch on that as to why doTERRA. Why would I use that oil? The more we've learned about them, the more we know too. And one of the things that sets them apart is how they're sourced. So there's essential oils everywhere. I mean, you can walk into any store and find essential oils, right?
Yes.
They are not created equally. And I have horror stories of people that have told me that they've put them on topically or something and broken out in this horrific rash, or they've had bad experiences even just smelling them from a diffuser, if you can believe that, because of the adulteration. doTERRA sources their oils by going around the world and finding where they are perfectly sourced. So where the soil is perfect, where the climate is perfect. We get our lavender from Bulgaria. We get our frankincense from Somalia. We get, all of these places where it is just perfect conditions. And then the top part is we then form a relationship with the farmers. And that's what sets doTERRA apart. We don't broker our oils. We don't get them from this guy today because their price is the best, and this guy tomorrow because they're giving us a better deal. We have a group that we get our oils from. We develop a relationship, and I'll give you Somalia as an example. We get our frankincense from there, and when doTERRA first found frankincense to be at its best in that spot, they met with the farmers. They talked to them. They said, we want your frankincense and we want you to give it to us. But what can we do for you in return? Now, I don't think very many other oil companies do that. And the farmers said, you can help us, if you're offering, you can help us educate our children. And doTERRA said, not a problem. We will build you a school. And they built them a school, and they built them homes, and they built them a hospital. and they provide them with small business loans so that they can be self-sustaining.
Wow.
So when you have that kind of a relationship with your source, the oil that you get, you know that the bottle of frankincense you open today is going to be of the same purity, the same goodness and consistency as the oil that you'll get a year from now, because it's coming from the same source and it is being tested and gone through all of the processes so that we know what we're getting. Okay. So when you use an oil of that purity and you put it on your body, in your mouth, whatever you're doing, 80% of our oils can be ingested. You know that you're getting something that works at the cellular level. Things like frankincense can penetrate beyond the brain barriers, so you can reach the condition far differently than a pharmaceutical that when the brain sees something foreign coming into it, it's going, no, stop, I'm not going to let you in. The frankincense is easily accepted. Copaiba is the same way. And so it's able to get into your system quickly, effectively, and safely.
And so does that what it means to be cellular? On the cellular level, your body's not seeing it as an enemy?
Exactly. And also that if you put something on, you're just amazed at how quickly it works. Digestin for our tummy is one of the best examples. You have a tummy ache and you put just a little dab in the palm of your hand, rub it right on your tummy.
Right.
And you're sitting there and a few minutes later, you realize that your stomach isn't hurting anymore. That's because it penetrates directly in very quickly and it doesn't have anything stopping it. And it doesn't have any side effects, right? So when you take the side effects away, it's amazing how effective a cure, I'd hate to use the word cure, a remedy can be, right?
Oh, for
because
sure.
we don't cure anything, we provide remedies, we provide beautiful remedies.
Yeah. So when you use the word adulterated, and I know I was going to say positive, but I want to, what is an oil that isn't as pure as doTERRA? What is being included in it that, because I mean, even I was talking to Sue in a past interview and she makes candles and she was talking about how the purity of the oils that she needs to use, because like you said, when you smell them, if it's not pure, it can make you sick. It can make your stomach turn. But what is a non-pure essential oil? What even is it?
Believe it or not, it could be something as simple as water. It could be something as simple as alcohol.
Okay.
But even the FDA says, believe it or not, that if a bottle says if it has 2% pure oil in it, it can call itself pure.
Wow.
That's the most frightening thing on the planet to me, because 2% is hardly enough. And believe it or not, you could have a pure oil, a 100% pure oil, if it is farmed from a place that has a bad environment, that is not pure. So the environment is not pure, and you could have it in your backyard. You could, people think, oh, well, I grow my own lavender. That's lovely. But if their house is by the freeway, or if there's, elements that are making it impure, I don't care how many times you test it, you're still going to have a lesser quality oil. And if you put a lavender oil, for example, in a diffuser and you're breathing that all day and it has some alcohol in it, or it has, if it's, 98% water, you're not going to get anywhere near the same benefits.
Right.
And you take, I had a friend call me who used our oils religiously. And one day she sent me a text and she was red from here all the way to here. And I said, oh my gosh, what did you touch? She said, I don't know which oil it could have been. I have no idea. I said, you've been using our oils for years. What is different? She didn't know. And a few minutes later, she texted me and she said, it could have been that rose that I got at the farmer's market today.
Interesting.
And I said, well, I'm pretty sure that that's it. So when you use them topically, you're putting things that have additives in them. You're putting things that are harmful, even if they are pure. If they're from a lesser quality environment, that your body's going to react to it, just like any other toxin, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you only want pure. You only want pure. And that's why we can ingest 80% of ours on the roof.
And it should be. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say on the roof of your mouth, under your tongue, in a glass of water, you can get them into you, which is even more effective.
Yeah, love that. Um, with oils though, I mean, like anything, if people have allergies, I mean, these are plants, right? Obviously, that we are working with. So if you have an allergy to that plant, yes, it's going to play out in the oil, right? So it's like if someone puts it on their skin, but they've been sensitive to citrus their whole life or whatever, yes, of course, don't. I mean, it sounds so silly, but you're literally going to, it sounds like an organic farm somewhere in the world where these plants are found, and just put it, we'll get into this in a second, but taking the plant and putting it into so is it 100% pure in a doTERRA bottle? Is that accurate?
100%.
Okay.
100%. And it's tested, I believe, over 9 times by independent testers. And to give you an example of that purity, we have an oil that's called Melissa. You might be familiar with Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
Very expensive because it takes so many blossoms to get a tiny little bottle of oil. Yeah. And when we first started with doTERRA 8 years ago, we didn't have Melissa available to us. Of course, when somebody tells you you can't have something, you want it. And I wanted to smell it in the worst way. Mm-hmm. And it was about 1.5 years before they released it again. And we said, what was the problem? Mm-hmm. It kept coming to doTERRA and they tested it and it was 98% pure and they sent it back.
Oh, wow.
And they sent back another batch, 98% pure, and they sent it back. They did not accept that oil, as expensive as it is and as much as they had to go through. That's why it took probably a couple of years. They kept sending it back. And we actually have had the testers come and speak at different conventions and say, they're not kidding. We have sent them things that were 99% pure, 99.9% pure, and they rejected them.
Wow.
So
I love that.
100% pure.
Well, and just having, I mean, I think even with the conversations that I've been having on the podcast, it's to know, it keeps coming back to know your source, like find the company that you can really trust, know why they started, know their mission, know their standards. Because if you don't know, honestly, there's a lot of toxins in the world. There's a lot of labeling, mislabeling that even understanding, like you can call it pure with 2% of a scent. That's not pure. So, and we don't always want to be doing this research. So for me, it's a matter of finding. And doTERRA specifically, I started with their oils. Oh, I think I was saying 10 years ago, because I was living in Salt Lake and I think I was invited to a party, and I love scents and smells and the colors, everything about essential oils I love. And so that was really my introduction to essential oils. And now, then going out in the world and being like, are there other ones that make sense? And realizing I don't really trust this. I don't trust that I can ingest it. And coming back to doTERRA time and time again, because now I have small children, because I'm diffusing it in a house with pets too. So it's like, even if it's not about you, it's affecting everything. It's your life. It's right. It's, I just want to trust it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And their heart is the other thing that I think sets them so far apart, because they share the story of when they first started the company 15 years ago, and they were, a little bottle of oil, and then they had 2, and they were selling their homes. They were doing everything just to support their business. They believed in it so much. And these 3 founders that started it, they gave it their all, and they went to a company that offered to buy them out, and they would all be financially, very, very well off, and everybody would be happy, and off they could go. And they walked out of the meeting and they looked at each other and they said, nope. And they refused to sell. And so they have been a privately owned company all these 15 years, and they stick to their standards, and they stick to, not brokering their oils, and they stick to the purity regardless of what it means. And so knowing that they give back and they build hospitals and they do all of these things for people, they're the first ones to respond when there's a disaster. When India had the earthquakes, they were the first ones to be there with money for these people to help them rebuild. And that kind of heart makes you want to be involved with them. You don't have to worry about stories you hear about them or different things. They're a good company, you know, and their product is good, and they stick behind that. So that helps a lot too. And they're the only ones, speaking of the purity, if you look at a bottle of their oil, on the bottom, there's a little code. And there's a ta-da. And that little code, there is a place called Source to You. And you can actually look up that code, and it will give you all of the constituents, all of the sourcing, all of the information. They are that transparent. And that's another thing that makes you feel good. There's no hidden agenda. There's no hidden secrets. You know what you're getting with each bottle.
Which you really can rarely say anymore. You really, like, I was talking to my naturopath, and even with the vitamins and the things that she recommends to people, she's like, I just have to keep pivoting, because the ones that I used to be able to go to have now been bought out by a different company. And I can't trust that that bigger company is keeping the same integrity, because it doesn't, from a cost standpoint, I don't know how you want to say that, but like, it doesn't make sense for that. They're not making as much money as they could by keeping the integrity, right? But it's being able to have, I mean, doTERRA, how many oils are there? Do you know?
Oh gosh.
So many, right? There's so many. And some of them come and go, like you said, based on different things.
There's over 100 for sure. And then there's all of the products that they have that have the oils in them.
Yeah.
And that's expanding, you know, I mean, hair products and skin products and supplements. The supplements are amazing. They're absolutely amazing. And things for children and things, you know,
right,
all ages. Yeah. So, and they keep growing their product. And now they have the wonderful sunscreen that, you know, is totally pure, and it works like magic. It is the best sunscreen on the planet. It's all pure. So, there's really no area, things for cleaning, you know, there's no area that you could possibly need something else, you know, because you can get that purity in everything you need for your household and for your family.
And I love just bringing it back to telling people that look around your house, like there's fragrances in everything, your dish soap, your laundry detergent, your hair products, your makeup. There's so many fragrances and these things that you're rubbing into your face, that you're putting throughout your house. You think you're cleaning, but what is the after smell, or that what is the effect on it? When you boil it back down to plants, essential oils are the basis of like those powerful, either not cures, like we said, remedies or cleaning agent or whatever it is. It doesn't need all the fluff. It doesn't need all of the extra, coming back to like the purity. Like I've for so long have been using orange or tangerine to get stickiness off of things. Because when I had the aha that I was using Goo Gone, isn't it Goo Gone? The orange one that's orange scented.
Yes.
And I'm like, what is Goo Gone? What is that? And then I was going and like getting Band-Aids off my son, right? He's got this stickiness. And I'm like, oh, I can just use a little tangerine or orange. It smells delicious. This, I obviously mix it with like coconut oil for, you know, he doesn't need the full potency. And it's gone in like 2 seconds, and it's just for my little bottle of essential oil rather than Goo Gone and whatever else is in that. And I don't, again, like there's a place for everything, but I think when you can boil it down to the simplicity of life, the pureness, and realizing how much fluff and toxins are out there that are in our lives in so many ways, you know?
Absolutely. Now we actually teach class on toxic-free living, and it's frightening, the things that are in our products. And you said small children. So, I mean, if you're mopping your floor with something that you don't really know everything that's in there, even if you go back to when COVID was going crazy and all of the hand sanitizing and everything that people were doing, and then they were finding out, oh, well, you know, some of that might not have been so good for you, you know, and especially as much as we were all using. And we were going through our little On Guard hand sanitizing sprays and cleaning all of our countertops with On Guard. And then they came out with the new abode line. So, I mean, we were cleaning with natural things. And if you drop food on the floor and a child picks it up, they're picking it up off of a very clean surface, as opposed to something that you're not really sure what was in that product, you know? So it does make you feel a lot safer.
Right. No, for sure. For sure. And
Yeah.
Also, like respecting though the power of plants, because plants, they are powerful. Like I've talked about it with different herbs that you take. You still have to respect it. Like, yes, you can't overdose on like, because there is too much. It's like they are powerful, and what is in there working, you have to be respectful of. A lot of them need like the coconut oil or whatever your oil, fractionated oil is to, right,
Right. Absolutely.
to make it appropriate for you. So
Right. And
I,
people often, well, they often think that when you put coconut oil and you dilute it, or you like roller balls that have the coconut oil in it, people think that it's less effective. It's actually more effective, if you can believe that, because the carrier oil actually helps it penetrate into the skin deeper and more effectively. So
right.
it's not that it's diluted down, or people are afraid, oh well, I really want to make sure I get the most from it. No, it's perfectly safe, it's perfectly beneficial, and like I said, even
Right.
more so.
Love that. Yes, I have a couple. I have Motivate right here. Is my little one that I have that's like,
There you go.
I'm like, and I like to use them
Excellent.
like perfumes, because I think
Oh, absolutely.
suddenly it was like another less thing that I didn't have to worry about, right? Like what perfume? I'm like, no, where's my essential oil? I can rub it on my skin. I know I'm not like putting toxins out into the world.
Well,
So,
and those perfumes are not necessarily good for you. And
right.
I have not used perfumes for 8.5 years now. I just use my oils, and people always comment when I walk in a room, oh, I can smell, what's that? What are you wearing today? So,
Right.
mhm.
Yes. So fun. So I know this is a very big question because each plant is very different, but what is the general process? And maybe pick one plant or essential oil of taking it from plant to essential oil. That is it? I know with like coffee, it's like cold pressed or whatever, but what is it with an essential oil?
Yeah, so I'm not real good on all the fine details, but I know the general without pulling out any paperwork. So when they take the plant, so if for example, rose, they're pulling all
Mhm.
of these wonderful rose petals, and it takes thousands and thousands and thousands of petals to get 1 little ounce of
I
rose
bet.
oil, which is why it's a little more expensive, all of the oils. But they take it and they put it through a press, and they extract that oil, and
Okay.
then they put it through, I think it's gas chromatography. There's all these different, and if I'm saying the word wrong, I apologize to anybody who's way smarter than me on this, but there's I believe two different processes that they can put it through depending on the type of oil. Citruses will go through a different one than your spruce and pine and any of those, because of the way it takes to actually extract that oil. Some is a hot press, some is a cold press, and the way they get that. But once they have that oil and they've put it through the press and they have the resulting oil, then they send it off for testing. And it goes through, like I said, I believe it's 9 or more different testings, that independent testers, that they put it through before they can finally get that 100% oil, and they say, okay, this is it, it's good to go, put the label on it, we're done.
I see. Wow. Amazing.
That's
Because I think
fascinating.
even that process of taking, I'm sure there's processes out there that destroy some of the goodness in it, right? Like if they apply too much heat, so it's like the cold. But I'm just picturing those rose petals going through like, oh
Oh, I
my gosh,
know.
that's crazy to think about. Like how much, what that is a lot of petals.
It is, and that site that I mentioned, Source to You, actually shows some stories of different sourcing and how they actually put it through the whole process. It's a fascinating site. I highly recommend it. Anybody who has any interest in learning about this, it's very simple. Just Source to You, and you'll see all kinds of fascinating things.
I used to get the doTERRA magazine. I haven't got, I wonder if it's when I moved. Do they still send that out?
They do, just not as often as they used to, and you can order them. You can
Okay.
order them online and request one. Yeah.
It was just so fascinating because they would usually highlight a different plant, right? And like where
Yes.
they were sourcing it from
Mhm.
in this story. And I just loved reading, especially because
Yeah.
it's around the world. Like plants aren't all meant to grow in one climate, right? So they're going to
Well,
where they're naturally sourced.
exactly, exactly. And you see lavender fields, and you probably saw this if you were in Utah. You'd be driving down the freeway and you'd see this lavender field right off the freeway. from
Right.
a different oil company. And that's not where I want to get my lavender. So I feel good knowing that it's coming from a place where it's meant to grow, where it's really good, and that's what's going into my body. That's what I'm using it for. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. So now you obviously go to different conferences, and I met you at the Wellness Fair a few weeks ago here in
Yes.
Coeur d'Alene, which was so fun.
Yes.
Do you have any, like a story specifically that sticks out in your mind, obviously beyond your amazing story of how you've helped people heal, support, nourish their body with essential oils?
I have one. Oh, sorry about that. Let's get rid of that. I have one in particular. So it was one of the very first events that we did, and it was a chiropractic event. And we met a doctor there who started sending her patients to me from across. She's in Florida, so she would send any patient that she had, and she dealt mostly with people who had cancer.
Okay.
And she would have them call me, and I would do a consultation over the phone with them to help them with some oils. And there's one lady in particular that I've been helping for 8 years now, through her different processes with her cancer and her journeys with that. But and she's gone through, bless her heart, all kinds of different things, but the oils have helped her so much with either digestive issues or just relaxation, anxiety. Frankincense she uses every single day because of the cancer, and just different things that we've been able to help her with. But one of the things that I found so interesting is she has a son, an adult son that has ADHD. He actually has OCD as well. And it was the OCD that she said, what can we do for him? He's obsessed with cleaning. He will be in the bathroom for hours, just cleaning his hands away. And he just very obsessive with it. And we started him on the On Guard cleaning products. And he uses the soap, and he knows what it's doing. Like I said, he's an adult, he understands how clean that's getting him naturally. And I mean, we process an order every month for really? This boy with the On Guard. He loves it. He swears by it. And I just find it so interesting how in that family we've been able to address two very, very different things, and it all started from an event where the doctor, sent her over to me. So I've helped a lot of people in that way with going through that.
I'm curious on the frankincense. Sorry, I just was thinking as you said, the frankincense helping with cancer. What pieces of it? How does I should know this. I just love the smell of it, which is why I wear it. But how was it helping with her, supporting her with the cancer?
So, and I'll state this, that this is not a doTERRA claim. This is, you can do research. You can look on PubMed. You can, Dr. Axe does a wonderful bunch of things on this. Frankincense has been known to kill cancer cells. Now, when you use frankincense is in a bigger picture, it's one of the best things that you can use for inflammation, to reduce pain, to reduce anxiety. So anybody that comes to me that is going through cancer, again, we're never using the word cure. We're never using the word, oh, you got cancer, we got that. No, but we tell them to put frankincense on the roof of their mouth at least 4 times a day. And we have some other products that we recommend to them that are going to help them. And that's going to reduce the inflammation in their body. And inflammation, as we know, is one of the big culprits with cancer, right? So you want to, really use that, and topically. So people with breast cancer, we recommend that they rub it right on the spot. Pepper is also very effective for that. There is a hospital in Kentucky that opened the doTERRA Oncology Center.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Kind of says it all, doesn't it?
It does.
So not only are they helping them with the oils, for the different conditions, but think about it, when you are going through cancer, you have digestive issues, you have sleep issues, you have all of these things. and the oils can help them. But they said, have these beautiful lounge chairs around with diffusers, with, calming oils and things to help them relax in between. We know that frankincense can actually help enhance the benefits or the process of chemotherapy. It can actually enhance that. So when people are going through something like that, they can get a lot of benefit in reducing what's going on in the body and helping them to get through the process.
Oh, powerful, so powerful. And I think to your point too, I talked to my acupuncturist about this, and she takes it on as, I can't heal everyone, I can't support everyone. But I always bring it back to, it's a holistic lifestyle. So you might be using essential oils, but if you're living in a toxic environment, if you're eating junk food, if you're sitting on the couch all day long, you're not, like, it has to be holistic. So it can't be like, and I know we are in this Western world, we are taught that we should have a one fix pill that will work in 5 seconds. And sometimes we find that in essential oil, but it is a holistic way of life to support yourself in all ways. So I just want to put that out there, right? Like, you have to look after yourself. This is not a one fix, like, oh, I'm just going to start taking essential oils and be Wonder Woman. Like, it's a holistic way of living.
Not even close. Yeah. It's not, you can get quick relief, but you're exactly right. We have a product that I'm really fanatic about right now, and it's called MetaPower, and it's for the metabolic system. But if you are going to continue to eat fried foods, and you're going to sit on the couch all day and you're not going to do anything, then you're going to sit there and go, well, this product isn't working. It's not, why did you get such good results and you're not? Well, you still have to make some changes in your lifestyle to get the full benefit of it, even though that it's going to help you. And we run into that all the time. And the cancer and serious illnesses like that is a perfect example. There's some lifestyle changes that you have to make, but boy, you can get some really good relief and some reduction in inflammation and pain and anxiety and things like that from the oils. So you're right. They've got to go together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And their support system, like quality vitamins, like nourishing food, like they are just a part of the bigger picture of how you can support yourself on your own healing and healthy journey. Right. Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's why doTERRA is not sold in stores. We've asked that many times, and unfortunately you see them on Amazon, you see them on different places. Big warning to everybody: do not buy them. They are adulterated. We have seen so many bad news. Buy them through people like us, because we are very big on education. We're very big on communication and connection. And I always tell people that get oils with me, I say, you get me with it. Yeah. And I mean that sincerely. I get texts at the strangest times of night where somebody says, oh, my child, this just happened, or my husband, hurt his leg. What can I put on this? With just questions. And you don't get that if you buy it in a store. Right. Who are you going to call? So we form that relationship, and my people know that they can reach out to me anytime, and I'm going to help them, with some suggestions of what might be ailing them, what they could do to get some relief at least. If they break a leg, they better go to that doctor to get that cast, but I can certainly help them with the itch. I can help them with the inflammation. I can help them with the pain. So,
yeah. And I always bought my oils. For a while, I bought them through someone, and then I started just buying them directly myself. So there's multiple ways with doTERRA, and not to downplay the value of having someone that can coach you through it and make sure that you are using them in an effective way, because they are powerful. But there are multiple ways. So it's not like, oh, I can't buy it in the store. Like, don't see that as a roadblock to doTERRA. It's just a quality product, and there's so many avenues to be able to get it,
They make it very easy. When you get your oils, you can have your own little account. You order what you want when you want. And that's the nice thing about it, is that you can be in control of your own health. You can decide what you need when you want it, and you don't have to run to the store to get something if you're coughing or, something else is going on. You just run over to your little oils and use what you have, and if you don't have it, you can order it very easily.
So I'm curious, what is and it probably fluctuates, of course, on how you're feeling, but what is like your daily routine with oils right now?
It does fluctuate, but I'm big on my supplements. I'm big on this metabolic system that I was talking about. It has completely changed my life. We were knocked down on the ground with COVID, and this is the only thing that has brought us back up and brought us to life. So that is something that I use daily, and I will never stop. They better never run out of it, because I will be at their door. But if my neck is hurting, I'm going to grab my Deep Blue, or I'm going to grab my Copaiba and put my Copaiba under my tongue. Copaiba is doTERRA's version of CBD. Easiest way to explain it.
Okay.
It works on the cannabinoid system the same way that CBD does, but no drugs, no nothing, no negative. First responders can use it, and they can have a drug test while they're putting it under their tongue, and it will be all fine, because it just comes from trees. It's
Brazil, right? Trees. Isn't it Brazilian?
Yep. And it comes from 4 different trees. So that's what makes it unique. It's a single oil that is actually a blend, because it comes from 4 different trees. So that 4 different trees make it more effective in the way that it gets into your system and the way that it works.
Okay.
So when I have anything going on, I put a drop of Copaiba under my tongue almost immediately, and that will help me with so much. So that's the supplements and Copaiba Deep Blue. Those are kind of my daily things, that you could say I could pretty much readily count on.
I love that, because, this is silly, but you can ingest them, and then you can rub them on your skin. You can infuse them in the air.
Yeah.
Am I missing one?
Nope. And you can use them in a diffuser, or you can have your own little personal diffuser, which is cupping your hands together. So like people with allergies, seasonal allergies, lavender, lemon, and peppermint. That's it, and that will work. But that's also good for whatever other allergies you might have. My grandson is very allergic to dairy. And if he ingests dairy, we grab the lavender, lemon, and peppermint that's in a little roller ball that my daughter's made, and put that on him. And that has kept him from little emergency runs.
Wow. Lavender, lemon, and peppermint. So even this time of year, like specifically probably, as the pollen is like insane out there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it even comes in a little soft gel called Tri-Ease, which that is, speaking of what do I do daily, that is another thing that I take daily. I take my little Tri-Ease capsule, but I love the smell of the lavender, lemon, and peppermint together in the palm of my hands. So see, there's another example. If you were to buy lavender in the store, you have absolutely no idea all the benefits that lavender can do. Right. And same with lemon and peppermint. I mean, there's so many benefits to them individually, but combining them, nobody would know about that if you didn't have somebody telling you.
Right. And it's so fun to know about it. It's so powerful, and it just is, I don't know, it just feels so empowering to me that it's like, it's nature. It's like Mother Nature around the world. Like, yes. Oh, I love it so much. I love it so much. Yep. So obviously you are an expert. And then what do you call yourself? Are you a coach? Are you an essential oil
wellness coach? Yeah,
okay.
I kind of say a wellness coach, because that's what we're doing, coaching people with some good suggestions. Mm-hmm.
I love that. So the best way for people to reach you, if they are interested in either buying oils through you or working with you to heal them, not heal, but get better, what we're trying to say.
Yes, I know. We always want to say it.
Right? Like, it won't cure, but it will definitely support you on.
Yes. Emailing me, and I think you're going to put that information out there, email or texting me. And we are always looking for people to work with us in our organization to help us. We have our own little personal motto that we do not sell oils, we provide solutions.
Love that.
And we believe that very strongly. I'm not going to work with people and tell them, how much did you sell? What did you do? Oh my gosh, that's never the question. It's who did you help? How can I help you
Yes.
help them? What do you need from me? So we're always looking for people who want to help others in a healthy way, in a natural way. And it's a wonderful way of life. You don't feel like you're working, which is why we do so many expos and so many things, because it's just such a pleasure to know that you're helping somebody with whatever is going on with them. You can provide them with the natural solutions. So email
I
me,
love it.
text me, whatever works best.
Well, and I think it's so fun to be behind a company that you trust. You really trust them, and they're putting amazing products and information. And I don't usually stand so firmly in this, especially because doTERRA is now big. But when I saw you at the wellness fair, and I was like, doTERRA, pivot. Because I'm like, got so excited. And I honestly haven't bought oils. I think I told you, like lavender on guard, not lavender, lemon on guard. There's a couple of go-to ones that I will still buy, but I kind of stocked up for a while. So I was like, okay, Gemma, back up. But when I saw you at the wellness fair, and I was like, if I'm going to talk to anyone about essential oils, I know who it is. And I saw you there, and it was just honestly meant to be, because there are a lot out there, and you can go to any of your local natural stores. But I tried to do that the other day, and I like backed away and felt kind of gross about it. I'm like, what am I doing? Go back to who you know. And then I met you, and it was honestly, so I feel weird about saying doTERRA is the one, but they are the one that you can
Yeah.
trust, and you don't have to worry about it. So just, yeah, love it, love it, love it so much.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. And it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. If the oils work, and they do, why try something else? And when people say, oh, well, the price, they're pennies a drop. They're not expensive. One little bottle will last you for so long. And
Yes, they
so,
will.
I mean, I have some, I don't want to tell you how long they go back, but it's because they last and last, and they are so potent.
Yeah.
One drop is all you need to get the benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may put 2 or 3 in a diffuser. That's okay. You're just using so little. So they are not expensive, and the quality that you're getting is so worth it. And when people will not cut back on their health in different ways, and look how much we spend on pharmaceuticals. I just picked up, I have a thyroid condition that unfortunately I do have to take medication. My thyroid was removed, so I have no choice. But sorry about that.
Yeah.
But the prescription, it was $110, and it was like, oh my gosh, I mean, seriously, why are you charging that much? Because the insurance company, of course, doesn't want you to use the brand name. They want you to use a generic, and on it goes. That's why I use the oils for everything else that I possibly can, because the costs are so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's good to have in your home. It's good to know that you can just reach for them when you need them.
Yeah.
So
And they're fun.
so
They really are
why
fun.
shop around? Yeah,
Yeah, I
why
agree.
shop around?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, exactly. Exactly. Yes. Well, I knew, like we said, I'm like, I can talk to you about essential oils all day. So I'm going to have to cut myself off at some point.
Yes.
And even I want to say, even you sent me, because to everyone that listens, I'm obsessed with the chakras, and it's very much like in how I life coach and see like a holistic life from root to crown. You sent me a PDF with essential oils for each of the chakras, which I've known to a point, but realizing that essential oils have a different frequency and will heal you energetically as well. Like the chakras is a whole different level of healing yourself energetically, physically. Of course, again, they're all holistic, but I just want to put that out there, that that's a conversation for another time. But there's
For another time. Exactly. There's far more uses for essential oils than people realize. They are not single dimension. There's just so much that can be done with them, and that's what makes them even more fun.
Yeah, completely. Yes. So I always like to end with the conversation about vibrant living and glowing from the inside out. So are there other health and wellness practitioners or organizations beyond doTERRA, of course, just locally here in our Northwest region, who have inspired you on your journey?
I'd have to just make a general statement on this. And we are ambassadors for both Post Falls and Hayden Chambers of Commerce. So we meet a lot of people from wellness centers every single day, and we get something from them. We just did a ribbon cutting at a wellness center this morning, as a matter of fact. And so we love going to them and seeing what they're doing. And obviously we try to see if there's any way we can get involved and help, but it's just lovely to know how many different mental health wellness centers and just wellness centers for so much that's going on these days. And so I couldn't pick anyone in particular because we support them all, but there are some great ones in the area, and we've been very blessed to be in the chamber where we get to go and visit with so many different ones all the time. So
I love that, and I love that on like a closing note of there are options. Like you might feel like there aren't options for your pain, for your whatever you're experiencing. There are options, and there are practitioners around the world, but even just right here in our little region that can support you outside of what seems like normal ways of treating yourself. There actually is an abundant ways to try and treat yourself and find your solution, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and be open to it. I think when we close our minds and not want to try different things, we're only doing a disservice to ourselves. Give it a try. I always tell people, what have you got to lose? Try that modality if you think that might have something for you. And because there's so many wonderful ones around, just sit down and talk to them and get that feeling of trust and comfort and go to them and see how they can help you.
I love that so much.